The silence is a predator. It stalks him across the endless sea of grass. A constant companion since the clan turned their backs on him 3 suns ago. Here, on the plains of a world that will one day be called South America, loneliness is a physical weight. The wind hisses through the pampas, carrying the scent of dust and distant rain. But it brings no voices. His hunger is a hollow ache that has sharpened his senses to a painful edge. Every rustle is a snake. Every shadow a stalking cat. His failure, a botched hunt that cost the clan a vital kill, plays again and again behind his eyes. A memory more vivid than the landscape before him. He is an outcast, a ghost in his own life. A piece of the long story of human evolution momentarily detached from its source. He sees it first as a moving hillock, a boulder grazing through the grass. It is a Glyptodon, one of the great armored beasts of this epoch, a living fortress of bone and keratin. The creature is immense, the size of a small hut. Its domed carapace a mosaic of thick, hexagonal scutes. Its stubby, powerful legs carry its 1-ton weight with an implacable slowness. A thick, clubbed tail, studded with bony spikes, drags a furrow in the earth behind it. For the pack hunters of this land, like the saber-tooth, the Glyptodon is an object of frustration. Its armor is absolute. There is no seam to exploit, no neck to sever. It is the epitome of the Pleistocene megafauna. Brute defense perfected over 1 million years of prehistoric life. For the starving exile, it should be an object of irrelevance, a fantasy of a meal he can never have. He could hunt the smaller game, the fleet-footed camelids or the elusive armadillos, but his failure was one of speed and reflexes. The memory of his spear flying wide of a fleeing target is a fresh wound. Stalking this giant, he sees not an impossible challenge, but a different one. This is not a creature to be outrun. This is a creature to be outthought. His mind, the only tool his clan could not take from him, begins to work. He spends 2 days doing nothing but watching. An act of profound intelligence in a body screaming for the simple release of action. From a high ridge, he observed. He sees the Glyptodon is a creature of absolute habit. It grazes in a wide, slow circle during the cool of the morning, rests during the searing heat of midday, and follows the same, deeply worn path to a small watering hole at dusk. The path is a trench carved by generations of such beasts. It does not deviate. It does not hurry. It does not think. And in that, the hunter sees his only chance. He cannot break the armor. He cannot outrun the beast. But he can predict its next step. The hard choice is made. He will not hunt the animal. He will hunt the path it walks. He will wage a war not against a living thing, but against the earth itself. The war begins at dawn. He finds the spot he has chosen. A narrow section of the Glyptodon's trench-like path flanked by 2 unyielding rock outcroppings. The beast cannot go around. It must go through. His tools are meager, pathetic against the scale of his task. He has a stout branch, its tip hardened in a fire weeks ago, and a large, flat slab of stone he worked free from a riverbed. This is his shovel, his pick, his entire arsenal of lithic technology. His own 2 hands are the true instruments. He begins to dig. The earth is a merciless opponent. The topsoil is baked hard by the sun, compacted by 1,000 passages of the great beast. The fire-hardened stick barely scratches its surface. He chips away, sliver by sliver, until he can pry a chunk loose with his fingers. He uses the stone slab to scoop the loosened dirt, scuttling away from the path to dump it where it will not form a suspicious mound. The work is slow, a form of torture. Sweat pours from him, tracing clean lines through the grime on his skin. His empty stomach clenches into a tight knot. This is the hunter's hard choice in its purest form. Every calorie he burns digging is a calorie he is not finding through a safer, more immediate hunt. He is investing his own life force into this hole in the ground. The sun climbs, a merciless eye in the sky. He works in a feverish trance, ignoring the blistering of his hands and the scream of his muscles. The hole deepens, inch by agonizing inch. He is no longer a hunter. He is an insect. A grub, burrowing into the ancient earth. Twice he is forced to stop, scrambling for cover as the shadow of a great terror bird sweeps over the plains. He huddles in a thorny bush, his heart a frantic drum. Watching the massive flightless bird stalk by, his vulnerability is absolute. He is alone, exhausted, and a stationary target. The silence he once feared is now a luxury he cannot afford. He must listen for every threat while his own ragged breathing fills his ears. This is a level of immersion in the brutal reality of prehistoric life few of our human ancestors would ever endure alone. By the second day, the pit is a man-sized grave. He stands in it, the packed earth cool against his burning skin, and looks up at the sky. It must be deeper. He knows the physics of the beast's stride, the immense momentum of its weight. He keeps digging, his movements now sluggish, his mind a fog of pain and single-minded purpose. This act of foresight, of projecting a future event and manipulating the landscape to meet it, is a monumental gamble. As dusk of the second day falls, he is done. The pit is deep enough to swallow a man and then some. He is a husk, trembling with exhaustion. But the work is not over. He weaves a fragile lattice of branches over the gaping hole, a skeleton to hold a cloak of grass and leaves. Upon this, he sprinkles a fine layer of the excavated dust, meticulously erasing the signs of his war. He crawls away, every muscle shrieking. The path looks as it always has, a solid, unyielding feature of the world, an illusion, but with the last of his strength. He spends the night in a shallow crevice, a stone's throw from the trap. Sleep is not a rest but a series of feverish jolts. His body to start unwired with adrenaline to find peace. The primal fear of the dark is amplified by his solitude. Every nocturnal sound is the footstep of a predator drawn to his scent of sweat and desperation. Dawn is a grey relief. He chews on a bitter root, its meager energy a cruel joke against the gnawing emptiness in his belly. Now comes the final lick, the most dangerous part of a plan years ahead of its time in the great arc of hominid history. He must bring the mountain to his mousetrap. The GLYPT Odon appears on the horizon, a familiar, lumbering silhouette against the rising sun. It begins its slow, methodical grazing, utterly unaware of the tectonic shift that has occurred in its predictable universe. The hunter waits. Patience is his last remaining weapon. Hours crawl by. The sun climbed. The time is nearing when the beast will seek the waterhole. He slips from his hiding place, his movements economical, conserving the last dregs of his energy. He circles wide, putting himself between the GLYPT Odon and its destination. He is now the bait. He picks up a stone and throws it, aiming for the beast's massive flank. The stone clatters harmlessly off the bony armor. The GLYPT Odon pauses its grazing. The low, guttural hiss issuing from beneath its shell. It has registered him, not as a threat, but as an annoyance. He throws another, and another. He is a fly buzzing around a ball. He moves closer, a terrifying dance of risk and reward. He must be close enough to provoke, but far enough to escape the sweep of its spiked tail, a weapon that could shatter his legs with a single blow. He shouts, "Burrow!" hoarse sound torn from his throat. The beast turns, its small, dark eyes fix on him. For a moment, the vast gulf of life million years ago separating man from these prehistoric animals is bridged by a pure, direct intent. The GLYPT Odon takes a step towards him. Then and oh, it is not a charge. It is a ponderous, inexorable advance. He begins to back away, moving along the familiar path towards his hidden snare. He does not run. He walks backward, his eyes locked on the armored behemoth. His heart hammers against his ribs. One misstep, one stumble on a loose stone, and it is over. The entire weight of his plan, his gamble, his life, rests on these next 100 paces. He feels the ground beneath his feet change slightly, the familiar firmness giving way to the almost imperceptible spring of his camouflaged lattice. He is on the edge. He leaps backward, clearing the trap. and turns. The GLYPT owed on. Its simple brain focused solely on the annoying creature before it. Tods forward. Its front foot, thickened column, comes down directly in the center of the trap. For a split second, the world holds its breath. Then, with a crack of breaking branches and a great whoosh of displaced air, the earth gives way. The ground simply vanishes. The GLYPT Odon falls. The sound is a wet, heavy thud, a sound of immense finality. The great beast is swallowed by the earth. Its impregnable armor rendered useless. Its soft, vulnerable underbelly exposed to the sky. The hunter, the exile, stands at the edge of the pit, looking down at his impossible victory. He does not celebrate. He is too empty, too overwhelmed by the sheer, brutal fact of his survival. In this pit is not just meat, it is redemption. It is a testament to the terrifying power of the human mind. The ability to see a future that does not yet exist and bend the world to its will. The story of this kill will never be told around a clan fire. The bones of this great beast, when found millennia later, will tell a simple story of a fall, an accident of toughness. But the truth is far more profound. This was not an accident. It was an act of intellect, of will, of desperate, lonely genius. It is a quiet, unrecorded moment in the grand narrative of anthropology, where one outcast human ancestor proved that the greatest weapon was not the sharpest stone, but the thought that guided the hand that dug the earth. He survived not because he was strong, but because he was clever. And in that simple fact lies the entire promise and peril of our species. The mind is the only tool that sharpens with use against the impossible. And the first ghost was the memory of a face you could never see again.